Yeah. Okay. And if you have like bottled water, unless this is in your way.
Whichever's easy. Oh, wait.
There is a bottle of water. I just took it. Perfect.
The water was on the desk.
And I want to make sure this is off, even though the Johnny Depp trial verdict just came.
Oh, wait. Wait.
So I've been like.
Wait,
obsessed.
what did it say?
He won on all counts.
Are you serious?
And she has to pay him $15 million.
Do you think she has $15 million?
Probably. Who knows? Probably not. Well, so he gave her $7 million for the divorce settlement or something. There's like some kind of settlement where she got $7 million. She literally went on a television show when she claimed all this abuse and said, I'm going to give this, this $7 million is dirty money. I'm going to give it. And she quoted 2 charities.
She never gave it, right?
Right. Which is, it's amazing to me how like bold she's done things said big things like on public record that could just easily be checked.
By the way, I think the real star of this whole thing is Johnny Depp's lawyer.
100.
I don't know what her name is.
Like we're all just like hoping they get together. Johnny Depp
and his lawyer.
And the lawyer.
Is that what we're hoping?
I'm hoping for that because she seems like a cool
She's
chick.
unbelievable.
She's unbelievable.
Oh my god! But that scene where she's like, there's that scene where she's asking about the funds. It's not a scene. It feels like it's like a movie. But she's asking like what happened to those funds.
What?
The funds that she intended to give to charity.
Yeah.
And then Amber is like, well, I intend to give them. And the lawyer is like, no. Listen to the question.
Yeah.
Have you given them?
Yeah.
And she's
just
like,
yes or no.
I intend to. And she's like, no.
Nope.
Stop.
Yes or no.
Have you given them?
My favorite, I think her moment, like if there's a highlight, was when in her closing argument, she said, if you, basically, it's not just believing Johnny Depp. It's not believing, and she listed like 35 people. This deputy, these nurses, this attorney, like big credible witnesses. She's like, basically, you're saying no to them, not just Johnny.
Right.
That was like that whole spiel was.
How are you consuming this? Are you consuming this on TikTok?
No.
Were you reading?
My problem is I don't have Court TV. Apparently, that's where all the juicy you could have watched every day.
How do you get Court TV? Is it?
I guess certain networks have it.
I don't know.
But I didn't have it. So basically, and I can't watch it during the day because I'm writing during the day, so I can't be watching it. So at night,
I think there could be a great song.
I would just like research or like there's podcasts that you can get catch-ups. But I've been into it.
Clearly. I think there could have been a great song. You could have taken like a sabbatical to watch this trial
100%.
for 7 weeks.
It is a country song. I mean, this whole thing.
The whole thing is...
Yes, it has been one big country song.
Okay.
Now I'm like looking at myself in this camera. Okay.
I think we've got it. Well, this is so exciting to have you in the studio. I'm a big fan. I've seen you play so many times, perform. Yes, I've seen you play.
Wow.
I saw you play at the Basement East for, I think it was like a Yep Rewind.
Oh, wow.
This was years ago, I think.
Did I do the climb maybe?
You did the climb. Here's what I want to know about the climb. When you sing the climb, it's always like this kind of like religious experience.
Yeah.
Does it feel when you sing it, like to us, it feels like so incredible and iconic. Does it feel like one of your best songs when you sing it? Or does it just feel like the one that had like this big pop moment?
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's one of your best songs?
I think it's a really good song. During that time, though, I remember when I wrote that song, or when it was selected, I had written so many songs that I felt like were as good. Like,
yeah.
I know that sounds strange to say now after it becoming the song it is, but at that time I was so, like, kind of beat down by, the journey of 10 years being here and writing songs that it was just another song. It was another song that just went into the vault.
Yeah.
So there's that. So I don't necessarily sit up there and go, this is amazing. But what I do think that's fascinating about when I sing it is what it means to me when I sing it versus what it means to y'all. Because for me, it was just like a self-help, like kind of a pep talk to myself. You can almost see it, this dream you're dreaming. There's a voice inside your head saying you'll never reach it. I was just writing it to Nashville, to myself that wanted to give up at that time. And so what's fun for me is to see how it's someone's marathon song. It's someone's, it was President Obama's inauguration, so all these other things. So that shows me like the weight of the lyric. But for me personally, when I sing it, sometimes I still sing it like when I get discouraged, I still sing it to myself, like the way I wrote it.
Looking back, though, do you think among the songs that you had at that time, does it feel like it was superior to some of the other songs, or just so happened that kind of fit the plot of this movie and then it sort of took off?
Yeah, I can't say for sure. It was a 10 amongst 6s. I think that I thought it was an 8, and I had other 8s, I definitely, when I wrote it that day, didn't walk out the door and be like, I just changed my career. I do think, though, I don't know if you know the story behind the actual inspiration of the song, but that morning I was driving into work.
Yeah, you were just kind of humming the melody, right?
Yeah, and like I do know that I felt a whisper, some kind of voice in my head saying, stop, listen to this. This is important. And the word classic came over my head, even so much that I thought, is this Islands in the Stream? Is this? I kept thinking, what song is this? It felt classic. The word classic came to me. But other than that, like I said, there's so many 10 years of writing before that.
Right.
So why would I think this song's any different?
Wasn't it originally called It's the Climb?
Correct.
And the It's got dropped, which is kind of like a Facebook moment.
And it was, I remember when the director and the head of Disney approached us on rewriting the lyric for a 15-year-old, because there was a little bit more mature. It was a little more spiritual, and they had like prayers and like a couple other things like that. And also they wanted it to be like The Climb, and they were using songs like The Rose and The Road, like just thematically. I think they liked the way the title. I was like, I don't care what you call it. I don't know. I will rewrite anything. Just, yeah, please.
Is it a better title, though, The Climb versus It's the Climb?
For sure.
It is kind of better, right? But it's subtle. Like, it's just shorter. Is that what makes it better?
Exactly. And I think we originally had it, you can almost see it. That's why I said that earlier. You can almost see it, that dream you're dreaming. Whereas Miley said, I can almost see it. So it was more like third person. I remember, and actually John Mabe, my co-writer, he sang one of the male versions of the demo. So, I mean, that's how far-fetched. It wasn't like I thought, oh my gosh, this song sounds so Miley Cyrus.
Right. So
Hannah Montana. I didn't even have kids yet, so I didn't know really what they would want. So it's just so, it's a tip of the hat to my publisher at the time that convinced the director to come to Nashville while they were here scouting for locations for that movie. She got him over to our office, and she thought if he could ever hear these Nashville songwriters, Bluebird style, with a 6-pack of beer, he will understand why we don't need to go to LA for songs. We've got songs here. And his name's Peter Chisholm, the director, and we really hit it off, and I think I liked his accent and he liked mine. And so at the end of it, he was like, put some songs on the CD for me because I love your voice. And I remember thinking, gosh, this is my moment. If I'm ever going to pitch to this movie, this is it. And
wait, did you think that? Because I've heard you say in endless interviews, you've said, this doesn't happen to a girl like me. And at every point, someone was saying, like, it's going to radio, it's going this. But you kept saying, this will never happen.
Right.
But you kind of thought in that moment,
well,
like,
I just
this
thought,
is a moment.
The moment is I'm never going to see this guy again.
Yeah.
And he really likes my voice. Maybe he'd even use me. He had directed movies like Serendipity, and he has great taste in music. So I thought maybe he's going to just, keep in touch or something like that. Or like, but I am a songwriter enough to, or a business person enough to know whatever songs that are on this CD, this is a pitch,
Right.
And so when he called me a couple weeks later, and it sounds like you already know the story, and was like, I want to rewrite the movie if you'll rewrite the song. it's just, I remember thinking because we brought him in the back door, he doesn't understand that this isn't the way it's going to go. I was just so beat down by that point.
But what does that mean that he didn't understand that it wasn't the way it was going to go?
Because it just feels
at some
like
point, someone in LA.
At that point, I had not seen a miracle happen.
Right.
I'd not seen the power of something crazy, like out of the blue, like up to that point for my journey. Those 10 years for me were certain people were just charmed, or certain people just were, the gatekeepers would let them through easier. My particular journey was just a lot harder. You know, things didn't just fall into place like out of nowhere,
right?
Especially out of LA. I didn't even grow up listening to pop music, knew nothing about pop radio or adult contemporary, you know. So it felt bizarre for a girl like me to get the song for that slot.
Right. I think it's weird that I've heard you mention, so like the song gets cut, it blows up, and you've said that it was then, you thought it would have been easy to keep writing in Nashville, and you thought your Nashville career was going to explode from there.
Yeah.
But all these A&Rs were kind of like, oh, there you go, like that's
what
what
you should have been doing.
But this doesn't make any sense to me, Jessi. I think if you have the biggest song in the world, anyone would be lining up to write with you. And I also think that like in Nashville today, isn't everyone kind of looking for that crossover hit? Like, was it a little bit of a different environment, or like?
I think it's just because it wasn't one of our own. It wasn't like Carrie Underwood crossing over, or even Shania, Reba. You know, Miley Cyrus, even though she was raised here, she was definitely out of LA, you know,
right.
And through the LA market. So it did not seem like a crossover out of Nashville. Nashville didn't really have its fingerprints on it. This really came through the Disney franchise, you know, film and television department. So yeah, it was a shock to me. It was a shock to everybody else here. But I don't want to undermine the people that had belief in me for so many years, you know, that gave me my first publishing deal. So I don't want to make it sound like it was a complete surprise to everybody. I know there were people that were in my corner. But, you know, I had really been kind of kicking around for a while and had to make some big transitions. You know, I was an artist that got signed at MCA, that folded into Mercury, that folded into Sony, that got folded into another part of, so like by the time my record came out and I was pretty much done, it was like a 4-year period of one album.
Right.
And so once that was over, I had to rebrand myself and figure out, I knew I wasn't going to be an artist anymore. That was a clear decision. I knew that wasn't what I wanted to do, but I really wanted to write songs. But everyone had already thought of me as a recording artist. So you can imagine those first years of, no, I'm not here to write for me. I want to write for Billy Currington. You know, they look at me
right.
Like, why, you know, didn't you have a record deal
right.
or whatever? So, and I think you've probably heard me speak on this, but there is a little bit of a categorizing in our town as like, you're a sideman, you're a producer, you're a songwriter. It's just, I think sometimes we all have trouble going, wait a minute, you're a song plugger and you write for film and television, or all those things. So it's gotten a lot better. But at that time,
it is weird. There's like something that Nashville kind of wants to put you in a box, and it's very uncomfortable with you doing different things, right?
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
Do you have, like, when you're writing now, are there people that you'll write with who are maybe a little, you know, younger than you, and maybe they are getting out of the artist thing and they're trying to transition into that writer thing and maybe looking up to you? Like, do you see yourself in other writers that you're writing with now,
doing the same,
or maybe going through that journey?
I do. It's funny because they don't even really talk about it, and I have not brought it up. But
you know,
I know, and I also know that the grind and how hard it is, and like there's people that I write with that I'm like, oh my gosh, Lainey Wilson, Dierks Bentley, Luke Combs, Miranda Lambert. I mean, them just the first people I'm thinking of. Those people could absolutely dominate songwriting.
A writer,
they could just stop. I mean, they obviously their careers have gone on to be, you know, big artists, but like there's people like that I write with. I'm like, gosh, you can keep chasing it, you can keep going out there, but if it doesn't work out for you, you could be in the Hall of Fame. You know, you're that good. The songwriting pool is just seriously stout talent.
Yeah, it's the best of the best.
Yeah.
One of the songs that I love of yours is David Ashley Parker from Powdered Springs. First of all, this title's out of control. And this was a real guy, but his name was a little different, right?
Ashley David Parker.
It was Ashley David Parker. But does Travis bring in this idea of like a song about an ID that he found, or like how'd the song get written?
That's exactly what he said.
He was like, yeah.
We were tossing out ideas, and he just was like, I've always wanted to write a song about my fake ID, and he explained to us that it was Ashley David Parker, and just for singability, I can't remember who decided on that, but it sang better, and we had just so much fun. I mean, writing that song was just, I love a long title, and I love kind of looking at we always talk about pitch sheets or like charts or whatnot, and you just think, wow, when you hear a title like David Ashley Parker from Powder Springs, it makes you want to know what that's about, So it's just like a book when people are walking in the bookstore and you see a bizarre title. It's like, what does that mean? I want to read it. Right. So it was so fun. And I think when I'm writing songs, I actually think about it a lot like that. If you're walking down through and you're looking at titles, what interests you, how quick can you get into the meat of the story?
And it's not it's not you don't think it's about what it's about. When you think it's about something else. Yeah. I don't think there's any other song about a fake ID kind of thing. There's nothing.
We kept thinking, why is there not? It's like we all have that story. And one of my favorite parts of that song is just embodying somebody else. Like, it's like almost like Superman's cape. Like, when you've got that idea, I imagined that Travis, or the character that we were writing about, had more swag and like got all the ladies, and like I could just see the video where like someone slides the beer across, at the gas station. Just this like Fonzie type, Johnny Depp or whoever, or actually McConaughey was a big muse for me in that song. And so I love that when he's got that ID, that's really his persona.
And he got the actual guy in the music video to like...
Which was so fun.
But wait, so he brings in the song idea, which is like, okay, Ashley David Parker.
And I don't know that we had from Powder Springs, but quickly we were like, yes, let's all do the big title. The big title.
Yes. And then do you start going through like the first verse and trying to figure out, okay, like how does he find the ID, which is kind of what the first verse is about?
Yeah.
And do you start just sort of crafting the story? Is that how that song gets written?
Yeah. And I think this is where like collaborating can work or not. Like, because just by the couple minutes we've been talking, you can probably see how visual I am. Like, when you give me that title, I immediately, and this was the same with I Drive Your Truck or Mine Would Be You, I have a whole video in my head. I can see the truck, I can see the guy. At that time, I literally could see, I don't even think about Travis, and it's just this other character. Where things get sticky with collaborating is, what if my two writers didn't see the same? Luckily that day we're all like, yes, David Ashley Parker from Powder Springs, November 20, we started using dates and 5'9", all those details. What if the other people didn't? I don't think we should use details. That's where you can see how a song can shift the energy of the songwriting process. But that day we all saw the same guy. And we just went to town on it. I don't know if it was verse first, chorus first. I know it was written very quick. And with my husband, which is really neat, we don't write a lot. We've probably just like a handful of times a year. But our odds of getting quality songs like that or songs recorded are really great. I think because we don't write a lot, and when we do, it's really exciting.
Right. How do you end up meeting Travis? Like, did your publisher put you in a write with him, or did you?
I actually stalked Travis.
You stalked him?
Yes, I have people that I've stalked, and it's usually so random. I say it's random and coincidental, but I'm very much a believer, and also believe that nothing's by accident. But we were moving into our house, and it was one of those deals where we didn't have cable yet. It was like rabbit ears, and I remember I was putting dishes away, and so I just had like one of those random local stations. So it wasn't like ABC, NBC, CBS. It was like something I would have never seen.
Courtroom TV. Oh, yeah, no, we don't have that either.
I wish we had that. Yeah, it was just like some random Nashville local station. And I literally heard this voice that just shot through me. Like, whoa, what is that? And I like put the boxes down, and I'm like and I see him in his ball cap and I immediately thought, his voice sounds a lot older than he is, and his energy, great guitar player. And I was like, whoa, I just really and I remember texting my publisher, who is this guy? And I actually have in my phone like Travis Denon or something. Like I didn't even write it right because I didn't catch it. I didn't catch his name, but I texted her. I was like, "Who is this guy?" And he had not gotten a publishing deal yet or a record deal or anything like that. But I pursued that, and I tend to do that. A lot of my collaborations, even now, believe it or not, are people like that. It's not always just, oh, you've got a record deal now. My publisher brings, like, it's a lot of times I'm like, who is this person that wrote this song on this random album? And I'll just kind of stalk them.
And then, like, will you go through your publisher to reach out, or will
Typically,
you, like, DM them on
just
Instagram?
Because
or...
I'm not very tech savvy, and I mean, for sure, every now and then I might slide into a DM about, but typically
that's gonna freak a young artist out or young writer if like Jessi Alexander slides in their DMs. Like that's a game changer.
And I've done it. I mean, I definitely have, but my brain works so fast and I'm running constantly that in my mind, if I send it to my publisher, she'll go make it happen.
She'll make it happen
because I've already moved on to the next thing mentally. I'm just bam, bam, bam. So I feel like it will ensure that it'll actually happen if I do that. But yeah, I mean, if he was here, he'd probably tell you, like, apparently I was on his wish list. I didn't know that, but he had like a top 5 songwriters that he wanted, kind of a wish list, and I was on it. So that's why I say I don't really believe in accidents like that. And another one, a big one, probably the biggest one of my career, is a songwriter named Chase McGill. Same thing. I'm on a golf cart. Me and Ashley Monroe. We're in Mexico. I'm on the back of a golf cart, and she's playing me on her phone, like just playing music because the guys were driving and riding. And she's like, I love this new Kenny Chesney song. This is probably 2014, 2013, I don't know. And she plays me a song called Donut. I don't know why. It's the same feeling I felt with Travis. It was a full body. What is that song? Wait a minute. Wait, play that again. I remember we pull over. I'm literally on a curb in Isla Mujeres, Mexico, listening to that song again. Who are the writers? And they're 2 people I've never heard of, Chase McGill and I just lost the other, Brent Cobb, the amazing Brent Cobb. And same thing. He didn't have a publishing deal. That was his only cut, you know?
Yeah, right.
And I called my publishers. I was like, I need to write with both of them. I need to write with this. And Chase tells the story that I went out and found where he was playing a writer's round, stalked him and went up to him. I was like, we have to write. So I'm just very moved by songs, I guess. It doesn't have to do with anybody's success or, you know, where they're at on the chart. I don't care about any of that. I want to ride on inspiration, and that's a big attraction to me in the room. Is like, wow, there's something there. I feel that. I know it. And I used to kind of disregard it, but now there's been too many of these coincidences.
Where you just have an instinct like that guy's a good songwriter, or there's something special with that person.
And it's not even like we're going to have success together. It's more like we have something to write. I know it. Like, I know that there's something that's going to align with you. Me and you have a baby to make. You know, there's something that's between us, and I'm sure they're like, you're a crazy person. But, and now look at Chase. Like, here we are almost 10 years later, and we've just had the biggest part of our careers together with the Morgan Wallen, and then Don't Think Jesus, and then Never Say Never with Cole. How we had our first #1 together. So It just shows you how over these last 10 years, I could have been like, oh, that was crazy. Why did I chase that? And he could have felt the same way about me. But whatever that essence is there.
The Morgan Wallen song is so beautiful and so amazing.
Thank you.
And I feel like he's putting it out at a time where he's trying to basically, I don't want to know if like, he's trying to paint an image of himself, it feels like, with that song and with a lot of the music that he's putting out right now. Were you thinking about that? About like, this is going to brand an artist, whoever cuts the song, like, this is going to really say something about that artist, right? Like, you have to be thinking about that when you're writing a song like that, right?
I mean, I definitely think in terms of what does this artist need? Because I get very few times to take these shots, so I want them to count. So obviously, if they've recorded 3 duets for that record, I'm not going to want to write another one, I try to give them a tool that they need to work with. And so, yes, to answer your question, I was absolutely like, gosh, I wish somebody would write a song for him about this topic.
So wait, did you write the song for him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'd been obsessing for the months before it. If I could ever write a song for him about this, what would it be? Now, that's hard when you don't know someone intimately. Like, I know Morgan definitely, as a buddy, but, like, I don't know, his heart. I wasn't there for those conversations, so I'm really putting words in his mouth. But I do know enough about his character. I know his dad, as a preacher. I knew, I feel like I know where his heart was, and my fellow co-writers felt the same. So you're just taking a swing in the dark. You don't know that you're going to get it right. But at that point, you just come up with the idea and the concept, and then you just try to write it to the wall. And it's basically an outfit. It might fit them, and it might not. And you have to be okay if it doesn't. So, yeah, I definitely try to play to win when it comes to, like, the Cole Swindell #1. That was on the back of a tour bus. He had Lauren Elena out on the road that tour, and I said, gosh, it's weird. You should have a song you sing with her or someone. You've never done a female. It's so interesting. Like, you've never had a female. You did a song with Dirk Bentley, but you've never done one with a female. So immediately I was like, what kind of duet would Cole sing? So I do think in those kind of terms.
Were there other Morgan songs that you had written like that, or was...
The Way I Talk was just a cold... Me and Chase McGill and Ben Hayslip just wrote that, just a day. We do try to write songs that are kind of a cast a wide pitch, because we felt like, Aldine could have sang that, or Luke Bryan could have sang that. Obviously, Morgan was the perfect person for it, but... I would say it's 50-50 of my life. Like, there's some days that I'm just writing a song, and then 50% is like, okay, Lainey, what do you need? What do you not have? Or whoever.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you have more success with one stay in mind than the other, or hard to say? Like, does it end up that when you just go in with no agenda, you get a bigger song, or are you actually better off saying, hey, what do you need? Let's craft to that.
I think it used to be more just write a great song. But now there seems to be so many more, like, I don't know. I don't want it to sound too strategic or anything. There's just a lot more involved. It's not just write a song and the plugger. There's just a lot. Producers' involvement, publishers' involvement. Yeah. I'd say it's more. It's a little bit more of me like casting. Okay, if I really want to get on this record, how do I make that happen? What kind of co-writers will help me write that kind of song? But then, I believe in the magic of songwriting. And, I mean, like I said, The Climb, my biggest song, I did not go in.
Was written for.
Right. So, I'm not going to be all business and politics and stuff like that, because I definitely leave room for the magic.
When people say that you're in, like, an artist camp, like, people always say you're in the Blake camp, probably the Dirks camp, like, there's Travis Dangs.
Yeah.
Is that kind of just because those are artists who have cut your songs and trust you? Do you feel like, are there any artists that you're in the camp of who have maybe, like, never cut your songs?
For sure.
For sure.
I mean,
and they just say it's going to happen. Like, if I just hang in there with Jessi, we're going to get there.
Yeah.
Or it's not that transactional, maybe.
Most people that I write with a lot, eventually, But so I think what people don't realize about Nashville and songwriting community is like how, gosh, I mean, I love Luke Bryan. I think he's awesome. We would sit and have a beer together and just be buddies, but, like, doesn't mean he has to record my songs, So camp-wise, yes, there's definitely people that, like, you've worked, like Blake's a great example. Like, we've been doing this for so long, but, his camps might change. And ebb and flow, and or my direction changes, my focus, But there are definitely times that I'm like, gosh, I really wish I could figure out a way. It's not even in that camp. It's just in that I just want a shot.
Right.
I just want to somehow get a shot. And I'm the kind of person, when I really care, and if I don't at all.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's just like I let go.
So it was just, I think it was just announced today that you just re-upped your deal with Warner Chappell.
Yes.
So very exciting.
Yes.
What are you looking for in a publisher? Is it someone to just, man the calendars, be on the lookout for new artists, constantly fighting you, pushing your songs? I mean, that's sort of what publishers do. But is that what you basically look for? And did you feel that, that was the best place for you, I'm assuming?
You just said a lot of the big ones. For someone that's got a lot of plate spinning with kids, I have 3 children and try to be pretty active in their lives, with a lot of activities. I have to have someone that's like, oh my gosh, this person has to cancel next week, but we're on it. We're going to plug in somebody else.
Right. There's no days off.
I couldn't do that. Those days of me being able to do that are over. But then you have to think about, they're also like your therapists, oh, just had a horrible write. I feel like the worst writer. I go through bouts of that, or is my career over? Who knows? There's so many things. But so there's some emotional parts to being my publisher, someone that works with me. I think inevitably, like the big one though, is like my work ethic's pretty high, and as long as I know that they're working too, like we're all good. It's like that's kind of how it's like I'm on the court, like trying to get the ball in the hoop. It's like I just want to know you're watching, you're with me,
right.
direct me when I need it. I have a lot of trust in what happens after I write the song because I'm so forward thinking. So once I turn in the song, I'm on to the next. Every now and then I'll obsess about a song, but typically it's like, okay, y'all have it now. Go work your magic. And I would say most aspects of my life, I'm very much like, I do my job. I try to let people do their job, so
right.
That's kind of where it is. But I mean, there's, yes, keeping their ear to the ground. Who's the next, not even new thing, because, I could spend every day. And I mean, my calendar would be so packed if I was trying to write with every single TikTok, Spotify find, XM, Highway find, plus all the artists that are signed daily. I mean, I would never sleep. What I need is the precise honing in, like, no, Jessi, this is really something I can see that you'd be a great fit for.
This is something special right here.
Yeah.
Would you ever consider selling your catalog in the future? Because this is like the big trend right now. To me, it seems like I couldn't sleep at night if someone else had my songs. But people are doing it. Everybody's doing it.
I did actually sell some songs. I've not sold like full catalogs.
And how'd you feel afterwards when you signed on the paper?
I'm still feeling it. I don't know how I feel yet. I think I feel good because, you don't sell it all. You still have portions. I'll never sell the climb. So, my kids, they know that's a piece of land they can fight over one day or whatever. But I don't know. I don't get really wrapped up in the money part of all this. And sometimes I wish I did. It'd make my life sometimes a lot easier if things were just black and white about money. But I keep looking towards the future of like, okay, I did that. What's next? I just want to build more.
What made you sell the portion of the songs that you did?
I think it just, like you said, everybody's doing it. It's like what?
Did you feel like uncool?
Yes, kind of uncool
for not selling your songs.
Like,
really?
Why
no,
am I not selling? Everybody
really?
Else, no, I mean that wasn't the main motivation. I think it just was something that me and my business manager and lawyer and we just kind of came to. It wasn't something I needed to do or had to do. I'm fortunate, but like I said, it was such a small portion. It wasn't like a big catalog or anything that I felt like this is a little safe first step into seeing if I even like doing this.
Right. Have you ever
baby steps?
Have you ever thought about starting your own publishing company, or maybe you have one?
I don't have one. I am definitely not business minded. I would absolutely have to have someone would have to run the whole thing. I'm not that kind of person, but do feel like I do a fair share of mentoring. And have mentored in the past MTSU students and Belmont student, and I have a heart for that. I think right now, like I'd give so much of that part of myself to my kids that it's like not something I can do a lot of. But I think in the future, I think it'd be interesting to sign a writer and kind of help develop them.
Right now, it's like it's hard enough managing.
I'm just like
It's hard enough managing Jessi Alexander.
just getting here. Yeah, I'm just getting here.
Was hard enough. I took this songwriting class in college, and the class was if you wanted to get an A in the class, you had to write 30 songs.
Whoa.
And if you wanted to get a B, you had to write like 25 songs. And then he broke it down. He was like, that was the only agenda in this class. And I'm not a songwriter, but I wanted to take a songwriting class to kind of see what it was about. And those were the only 30 songs I've ever written in my life was in that class. But is that, if you were to teach a songwriting class, is that how you would you tap it in that? Because it's the repetition, right?
I think that people don't like our answers when they ask most songwriters, like, what do I do now? And we're all like, go write more songs.
Songs.
It's like the last thing someone wants to hear. Like, but I've written 30. Well, I've written 300. Yeah, this year I wrote not that many, but I mean, I've written a lot. It is unfortunately a lot like, playing the slots or lottery or whatever. It's odds. I think that's at least from my perspective. And the more you get hung up on a song, I think it can stifle the growth of the next song. It's like you just got to keep moving. Just keep writing. But yeah, that is an answer I don't think people really like to get.
Is the repetition.
The repetition, I think it was it Harlan Howard, I believe, a legendary, amazing songwriter, that said, keep your pencil sharpened. And that's probably one of the, top 3 quotes of songwriting I live by. But that's my way. I definitely know that there's other writers that are like, hey, it's better for me to take 3 months off and I come in fresh, or, I only run or write 2 days a week. Everybody's so different.
If you take 3 months off, do you feel like you're rusty when you come back?
I would have never taken 3 months off, but I feel like for me, the blue collar clock in, clock out is best for me because I guess I like that structure of like walk in and I don't get to do this anymore because we're writing with so many people all over the place. But in my like dream world, I would go to one place, walk in the door, same time, write a song. It's kind of
like the same environment.
It reminds me of when I was, kind of growing up. I worked in factories. I worked at Subway. I worked at Sears. I had a million jobs, and I like the community of an office or the same building, all that stuff. But it is fun to break it up and go to different places. But I definitely, for me, when I can have a week like that where I'm doing the same kind of consistent, I'm just on a roll, one of those 4 or 5 songs, probably pretty good, whereas there's a little bit of anxiety of, wow, I've never met this person. I've never been to this place, Now, sometimes that anxiety can crop up a great song. Create a song.
I would imagine, though, that you could probably call the shots and people could just come to any room that you say. Is it the other co-writers who get in the way?
We work so much with people that have equipment, like production equipment and tracks.
Right.
Yeah, so, which, by the way, I really enjoy. I enjoy that, too. It took me a hot minute to wrap my head around it at first when it kind of came through Nashville. It was because it was such an LA thing, but now it can be so creative and so much fun, and I'm blown away by some of their talent, and just how you can walk away at the end of the day and feel like you have a record. Something sounds like a record.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. Yeah. I was at Stagecoach a couple weeks ago, and Lee Brice was playing.
Yeah.
And it is such a moment in his show when Drive Your Truck comes in.
Yeah.
You feel it. He put on an amazing set, but he was like later in the day because he's like more of a headliner, and it was so hot and everyone was like so mopey. And when that song came on, like the middle of a set, it just like completely changed the energy. Like everybody was singing along and it like brought them back to life, even though it's like a little bit of a slower song and it's a little bit of like it can definitely get you in your feels. But like you have to have seen this happen at one of his shows, right? Like it's crazy how like the song can do that, right?
Man, that song is it's so special to me for that reason. It's like, it's a hammer, it's just like out of nowhere you can I feel it the same way that they feel it still. I mean, when I sing it live, I'm just like, there's nights I can't sing it. I mean, you're just like, whew, this is heavy. We touched that nerve. That nerve had not been touched, I don't think, a lot in country songs, and Lord knows, in my background, I had lived that idea, as had Connie. So it was just so pure and authentic for us. And so it makes me feel so good to know that other people are feeling it the same way.
Yeah, I was listening to it last night, and I feel like you listen to a song so many times and you can get kind of numb to it. And I was listening to it last night. I was like, oh my God, this song was killing me. And I just come out of Top Gun 2, and I was emotional about that. And then I listened to the song. I don't know, for some reason they connected with me, and I was like, oh my God, the song is so good, obviously. So is it true, going back a little bit, shifting gears, is it true that you had asked your dad for a bass guitar?
Yes.
And he brought home a 6-string acoustic guitar from the pawn shop, right?
Correct.
So if he had brought home a bass guitar, would you have been like a bass player?
Maybe. I mean, that would have been awesome.
Is that what happened?
So yeah, it was I think my 10th or 11th Christmas, and he was like, you're gonna have to learn an instrument. So, and my dad was a painter, so I grew up with a paintbrush in my hand, which is, people don't really know about me, but like that's what I thought I would do. You know, I was learning how to paint from him. But I was so into music. I mean, I just was like, I don't really care about painting. What I really care about is this Led Zeppelin record, or this Janis Joplin record, or this Bill Monroe record. I was into all kinds of music, but at a very, very young age. Now having kids that are age 10, it's crazy to me to think about the encyclopedic knowledge I had of music at their age. It was vast. So I was really obviously into the blues, being close to Memphis, and my dad painted a lot of the like blues posters and things like that. So I was around a lot of blues musicians, and a lot of times those bands would have it would be a 3-piece. It'd be like guitar, bass, and drums. So I was always enamored with the bass player, the sound of the bass, and asked him. I said, well, when he asked me what I wanted to learn, and I said, I really want that low thing, that bass thing. Well, my dad was, I was obviously a painter, not raking in the dough. He went to the pawn shop and couldn't afford the bass and the amp. So that's when he came home with a Yamaha guitar, which I still have, acoustic.
Do you still have it?
I still have it.
And it's just
terrible. I mean, it's a bad guitar.
You can't
It's
play
just, I'll never sell it, but it's not, it needs a lot of help. But that was like such a change in the direction right there. I could have
brought home a guitar.
Well, because if I had gotten that bass, then I would have had to be in a band, because I mean,
you can't play bass.
Well, you gotta have a drummer.
It sucks. Yeah.
And this is pre-figuring out I could sing. So pretty soon after, that guitar was hard to play. I had a love-hate relationship with the guitar the first couple of years. It hurts. All the people out there listening that play guitar, you know what I'm saying.
The strings were high.
It literally hurts, for the first couple of months, and you've got to keep playing until your calluses get strong or thick. But I put it down, pick it back up, put it down, and probably during that time I was like, singing sure would be a lot easier, playing piano. So I started tinkering around with piano and singing, obviously.
When did you get a really good guitar?
I got my first real guitar when I moved here, and I was 21, and it's a 1976 Guild.
Oh, wow. I think I saw you playing this
recently
on your Instagram.
Yeah, and I love my Guild.
Right? Were you playing this recently?
I might have. Every now and then I bring it out, but that was my first real guitar. But yeah, I was going to be a bass player.
Wait, but was there a guitar between the Yamaha and the Guild?
No,
so
I mean,
you played that until you were 21 years old?
Yeah, I mean, no, I didn't have any other guitars. I might have borrowed guitars or something, but I remember getting, saving up money to get that Guild.
Wow.
Yeah.
And did you have other friends who were into music also?
Oh, yeah. I mean, when I was in college, I was a, part-time student playing in band. I mean, I might have looked like I was a full-time college student, but I wasn't. I was literally leaving class and driving straight to Nashville. I treated that like my job. Like, who's playing tonight at the Bluebird? Who's playing Third and Lindsley, 12th and Porter, Exit In? Who can I meet? I hate college. I can still not figure out a major, and I've been here for 4 years. I absolutely can't do anything else. I've been in bands my whole life because I was in so many bluegrass band, blues band, R&B band. I was doing all that after classes.
You were a social worker major.
I was a social work major, but I was playing in a 12-piece horn band at night, so I knew the writing was on the wall. Sounds like you know my bio pretty well, but my fourth year, one of the professors pulled me aside after class and said,
"You gotta get out of here.
You need to quit."
Would you? Are you gonna make your kids go to college? Or like, what are you gonna do here?
I'll be honest, it's going to be hard because me and my husband neither have college degrees.
Yeah.
And, we're living our dream jobs. So I'm more about work ethic and passion. So, like, if you can be a good human and you're passionate about what you do and you work really hard, like, you have my blessing. And so I have kids that all want to do different things, but we're instilling that in them. And if that means college, then you have to do that. But no, I'm obviously not one to talk about that diploma.
Are they good students? Like, if they're not studying, will you like crack the whip, or will you be like, if you're practicing guitar,
yeah,
who cares about the math test?
It's more like, let's just get through the school thing.
Yeah.
I know it's hard. They're all very creative, as you can imagine. Brilliant, so smart. We do a lot more. I worry more about experiences for them. Like, we're about to go on a trip to Europe. I want them to see things. Like, they can read about Greek mythology, but we luckily get to take them to see these things. So it's like they're so curious, and I'm always trying to like help them expound their their knowledge. But as far as like letters of grades on a page, for me, that's obviously not necessarily the most important. But
I feel like Jessi would be a cool mom.
I'm it's pretty fun around my house. Like, but I crack the whip on other things, big time. A lot of it has to do with manners and just the way you treat people. And I mean, literally, the big test in our house is how do you treat the lady at Cracker Barrel that's serving our food. That is big. And I mean, how do you talk to somebody? How do you finish that job? Things like that. So yeah, trust me, they have it hard. It's just different hard.
They've got hard. The lady at Cracker Barrel needs to be. That's
absolutely
the Cracker Barrel test.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna know this is big though. I wish that I wish that my parents put
it's
less.
Not, and that's not just manners like Southern manners the way I was raised, just to have those manners, but it's more about why those manners. It's like not just say yes sir and yes ma'am, but why are you showing that respect, and what is their story? Yesterday was. Or the day before, whenever it was Memorial Day, and we were driving home from West Tennessee and stopped at the Cracker Barrel, and there was a lady working, and she's like, we're so understaffed. Like, nobody came in today because it's Memorial Day. And I talked a lot about Gabby, our server, and I was like, man, it stinks that she's here and all her friends that didn't come in, she's having to take the load.
Right.
So let's treat her, because think about how that sucks. She's not going to go do anything fun. And just those kind of lessons to me are what's more important. Sorry, this just became a...
No, that's so true though, right?
Yeah, it's like not just yes ma'am and not just give her a big tip, but like it's that she's here. She showed up.
I did this recently. I feel like I'm still learning this lesson. I was at dinner with my parents in Nashville. They were in town visiting. And we had this waiter who was so rude to us.
Yeah.
And he was so rude. And I was like, oh my God, like screw this guy. Like, why is he being so rude? And my mother, like, showed him so much compassion and, like, smiled and, like, cracked a joke and, like, did a thing.
And he changed.
And then he, like, totally changed his demeanor.
Yes.
I was like, that was magical. Like,
Mom.
Why can't I do that? I think I could. I could tap into that, Jessi. But you're right. That is kind of a thing.
Yeah.
It's
those lessons that, like, I don't know where that will help them, that moment, but hopefully somewhere down the road, that'll be just as good as acing a test,
Yeah. Is your house the house that like all the friends come over to? Like, do you have good snacks?
Not yet,
and,
but I want it to be.
I'm
working
snacks.
on that.
That's how you do that. You need to get.
It's snacks.
It's really just comes down to the snacks.
It Cokes, like bad food, like Cheetos, Cokes. Yeah.
That
lots of snacks, bad snacks.
No, that's
cereal.
Really, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
If you're the healthy house, nobody's
and
coming over.
And I have two boys, so I mean, they're already eating me out of house and home. It's just Costco,
Nobody's coming over. My mother is gluten-free, dairy-free. She has lots of allergies, so our snacks were horrible.
Right.
Growing up, and nobody wanted to come over.
No.
I'd go to other.
Yeah,
people's houses.
I want to be the fun house. There's definitely a lot of musical instruments you could play.
That's big.
Yeah, it's big.
That's big.
Yeah.
Really big. We're running out of time here.
No.
We have so much else to cover. What have we left out here? First of all, the song "Daddy's Old Number" by Swindell.
Oh man.
That's got to be one of my favorite Jessi Alexander songs also. That song's incredible. And I feel like that song was like everyone was talking about it, and then it was like did really well, but then I don't know, like people moved on too quickly, I think. Like that song was incredible.
That's another Chase McGill.
Chase McGill.
Man, there he is. Yeah, that song was just so crazy. Got the title. Someone I was talking to, a friend of mine I was talking to on the phone that had just lost their dad, and he said it's just so weird, like just to not be able to call him, like just the simple phone call. Like who am I supposed to call when I have these questions? And I was telling Chase about that, and boy, we were just little babies writing that song. We cried and cried, and we wrote it quick. And Cole, we played it for him that night, and he cried, you know. So we knew it was special to us. I'm just glad to know that it's special to other folks, and yeah, thank you.
Do you ever see songwriters who you feel like, maybe like, I feel like you can meet a songwriter and you can kind of tell viscerally, like the moment you meet them, like if they have it or if they don't have it, especially like when they play around, you can kind of tell like this person's in it for the right reasons, or they're like authentic about songwriting. Do you feel that way? Like, do you have a good visceral, can you tell within like 10, 30 seconds if someone's a songwriter? Or is it hard to tell?
Songwriter or like gonna be successful?
Like a successful songwriter.
Yeah. I don't know. The meter for me is not. It's so much that it's more like, am I moved? Do I feel anything? Because there's a lot of folks that are huge artists that I look at it like that's just not my thing. You know, it's like not something. Doesn't mean they're not going to be successful. It's just like I'm not going to be a part of that journey probably because I don't necessarily relate, or I don't know that I have anything to offer them. But yeah, I feel like I have, like I said, like the Travis moments, or so many artists. I mean, Miranda Lambert was someone that I was with early on. We were signed to the same record label, and you just knew. I mean, she just, not only did she have such a great singing voice, you know, and all that, she just, you could tell she's going to work hard. She's going to make it happen. And yeah, she's authentic. I'm really, really inspired by authenticity.
Right.
And drawn to that. And when that's aligned with what I do already too, that's like the perfect mix.
Do you see people get that authentic thing later in life, or is it pretty hard to get? If, like, are there songwriters who've been around a minute, at first you're like turned off, but you're like, oh my God, this person's so not authentic. But then they tap into it over time. Is that possible, or is it really hard?
Maybe. I think I can kind of sniff out pretty soon though, like I said, in terms with me, like, is this something I gel with? And it doesn't always have to be, oh, we were raised the same way. I mean, you know, it could be anything. It's just like, are we simpatico? Are we compatible, really? And that's fun for me. Like, I've gone through phases where I was like, I'm not going to write with girls anymore, you know? Or I don't want to write with, I don't want to write in LA anymore. I don't want to write pop songs, whatever. But it's like, really, at the end of the day, you take away those labels. It's like, do I feel anything from that person? Do we have anything that can I contribute to them? Can they contribute to me? That's kind of the authenticity I'm looking for.
Fair enough. Jessi Alexander, thank you so much for coming into the studio today. Have we left anything out? Have we not said anything? We've re-signed with Warner Chappell.
Yes.
This is very big. Huge. Very big.
It's full circle. I started there 20 years ago.
You started there, your first publishing deal.
My first publishing deal.
And then didn't Jessi Vaughn, did you hire her to be like a writer-manager? Or
yes. Like,
she was in college, right?
Correct.
And what were you doing hiring her to manage your career? It seems a little risky.
It's funny. It's like I had not had a writer-manager yet. I'd had, publishers that would do, you can't ask your publisher to send someone your bio every time. I was getting to the point where I started playing all these shows, and there would be like, gosh, I don't have an agent. I don't have a manager. I only have a publisher. So I was playing a gig at Cheekwood, and I was selling CDs. And I mean, as quick as I could take the wrapper off and sign them, I was giving them away. I mean, it's just so fast. I'm trying to exchange money. And I felt someone take big batch of these CDs and start unwrapping them for me and hand them to me.
Oh my God, it was Jessi?
And I'm like, I look over and I'm like, who is this angel, that is, and she's like, my name's Jessi. And I'm like, well, my name's Jessi. She's like, I know, with an I, and I'm with an I. And we just had this moment. And I was like, do you need a job? And
that was it, the unwrapping of the CDs. You needed an assistant more than a manager.
I was like, I just need help. And she's just so bright, so smart. And so she was still in college, and I was like, I've never done this, but can we work on an internship or how do I work with you? So yeah, we got her gave her her first job, and so it's so cool to have watched her kind of star rise through Warner Chapel, and now get to work together.
Yeah,
Partners.
she's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So cool.
So yeah, there you go. So I'm back to Warner Chapel, which where I started 20 years ago, and the same building, and it's very exciting.
Very exciting. Very exciting.
Yeah.
Well, Jessi, thank you so much for coming
Thank
in.
you.
This has been such a pleasure. Have we said it all? Have we left anything out?
I don't know. Just yeah.
This is
we
Johnny
could-
the Johnny Depp trial.
The Johnny Depp trial.
We need the.
I mean, we could keep going. You're a great interviewer, so thank you so much.
Thank
for
you so
having
much.
Me.
The okay, we're gonna get the verdict right after this. the
Yes.
Johnny, and we'll put it in the a thing.
Yes, let's please do. This is important.
This is important, right? This is what we're really here for. Is
Exactly.
the Johnny Depp trial. Really big. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Oh, do we cut? Lewis,